Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Surreal Lemming, and I'm bringing you another game of Planetary Annihilation. This is going to be a test for post-commentary. I haven't done it before, and I'm going to try and do some audio magic to level it out and make it sound a bit better overall. This is just a game. It's about 45 minutes long. There are some good engagements in it, especially towards the end. I win a quite difficult engagement. I'm guessing it, of course I'm going to win. Well, that's not to say I won't cast games I lose in the future if they're good, but right now I'm winning most of the games anyway. Now it sounds like I'm blagging. I promise I'm not. It's just that everyone's new to the game and still trying to get the hang of it. I've just played quite a bit. So this map is generated. It's got a very large ocean on the one side. It's very hard to say left, right, up and down on these maps. I do like to align to north a lot of the time, so I'll go west, east, north and south, but that's sometimes very difficult to do at the very start of the map. I decided to start near the ocean because Tech 2 Navy is quite powerful, and there's a very large open bit of land, so I can easily go into land units and air if I feel the need. This is Alpha Build 49595. The main things in this build is some minor tweaks, but mainly that they're testing out the Linux and Mac OS stuff now. So that is going to be in the game soon, and I believe it's kind of working, but I don't have a Mac or Linux bot to test it out on. Though this computer does have a Linux on it, but I'm nowhere near competent enough to get stuff working generally on Linux. We've got my standard build again. I can undo this thing where I build 2 mass and an energy. I should really go mass, energy, mass. But it's like a tiny little thing. I do think I'm going to start experimenting with going bot factory first, but I think I'm going to run out of energy a bit too quickly. So I might end up going energy, factory, mass, energy in the future. I've got to test that on a few games first. I decided to go bot factory first rather than vehicle because it does build a little bit quicker from my experiments, and the bots are generally a lot more mobile and get to areas a lot easier than the vehicles can. Of course, you don't go air first because it takes a lot more energy to run, and at the start, energy is quite hard to come by. Now, hopefully, as soon as this energy finishes, I will be bottoming out on energy. So, yep, there we go. Just in time, and I don't hit bottom of energy or metal yet. That will come soon, though. Start this guy and immediately start making some more metal extractors, mass extractors, whatever they're called. I'm pretty sure they're metal extractors. And I just decided to check out the moon. Why not? See if there's any aliens hanging out there. Yeah, just checking out if this has changed. It hasn't changed from what I can see from previous builds. The moon does have a bit of an odd texture to it now. It's not round like it used to be, so I'm hoping that equates and looking to do the moons fairly soon. And I've had a little bit of look around. I haven't seen anyone near me as of yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So I decided to go into Tech 2 so I can get my Tech 2 energy and mass up in fairly decent time. Still powering on economy. My economy, as you can see, my economy is kind of wavering close to the bottom, but it still hasn't hit rock bottom yet. That'll change soon. What I'm going to try and do in this game is just give an overview of what's happening, but I'm also going to be critiquing myself a lot and trying to fix flaws in my play. Like here, my energy did drop below, but it wasn't too bad. But here, I've got my commander going back onto mass. I think I should have had him build 1 more energy, then go back to mass at this point. So I've got another bot. I've just built a naval factory, or queued it up anyway. So I'm going to rush to get some, just a little bit of navy to do a bit of scouting and make sure I own this ocean so I can't be bombarded from the shore very easily. Because if they control that ocean, they control a massive flank, especially against air. I hear them showing off. They've added scrolling on the sides now as well, so you just put your mouse cursor to the side of the window and scroll, which is a nice little addition. You don't have to constantly be using the middle mouse button, although I've gotten a bit used to it now, so that is what I'm using the majority of the time. So again, getting back energy, I'm floating a lot more mass than I need to be right now, but my commander is building more energy, so I think I'm okay. Now building some anti-air bots, just general anti-airage, just in case of quick scouts or bombers. I generally think it's a good idea to get a few up. I think I've queued a few too many though, and I'll be rectifying that in a little bit. Found one base there, and he's right on the shore, so I immediately thinking, so he's probably going to go Navy, as it is so powerful, so I really want to start making sure that my Navy gets up in good time, and that involves getting up plenty of energy, as shipyards and fabrication ships take a lot of energy to build. I could have brought my commander down here a bit sooner and boosted this out a little quicker, but I didn't think it was really worth the time, and I decided to go for a bit more energy first. So, just dropping a Tech 1 radar, giving you a little bit of forewarning if someone decides to attack across this flank. And as you see there with the radars, now when you select them, it shows you everything the radius of the radar, which is quite nice. The Tech 2 radar is massive, it's much bigger than I thought. I don't know whether that's been buffed slightly or what, but it is a lot bigger than I thought. A little bug here. I think that poor little thing is just stuck in orbit for some reason. Maybe it wants to go visit another planet. Wally all over again. Oh wait, he's going to go to another planet today. Anyway. My advanced bot facility is nearly done. My commander is not doing anything, so I send him over to assist it. I have got a fabrication ship there. I don't know why I haven't used it yet. I think I just haven't noticed because I've only built one. Because one thing that has changed in the patch as well, or one of the patches over the weekend, was that when you add a building to a queue, just like when you add a building to a queue of a building that's constructing, it takes the first one off as it's building it, which is exactly the same as if it was finished, but that's different to how it was before. Which I actually preferred it the way it was before, but it's still not bad. Of course, I have just run into an enemy on site here. I decide he's very close. It doesn't look like he's got much there, as I have just sorted a little into his base. So I decided to bring my commander up to give my units a bit of defense and try and micro against him a little. Now, the commander in this fires incredibly slow, but he's got a very large AoE and huge amounts of damage. So, if you actually have lots of little units, and he does not have lots of little units, if you spread them out a little, which I think I might do in a second, there you go. Oh, no, I'm just selecting them all. Boy, that boat built pretty quick, didn't it? So, yeah, that is pretty impressive. Now, I've got the boat, I'm bringing it up onto shore now to bombard him a little, try and put some pressure on him. And I'm microing heavily here, I'm not really paying attention to my other units, but hopefully that doesn't backfire on me in a second. Bringing my boat back up to the shore, and my units are engaging the commander. And there you go, they all died because I hadn't split them. I believe I do split in a little bit. I for some reason decided to build a point defense turret right there. It doesn't really come into use. It does kill a couple of things later on, I think, but nothing that's massive. As you saw there, big red ring around the boats. A new feature is if you hold down control while on a mobile unit or select a static unit that fires, it shows you its firing range, which is another really nice addition. I'll start the advanced boat factory just to make sure that I can get those Tech 2 boats on the go. Does it get shot off? No, it doesn't. Now, here, I micro my commander back, so his commander fires at the turret and takes it down. And I bring my commander back into the battle to shoot at his commander. I do a little bit of a silly thing and I leave my commander there too long because he tries to go in the wrong direction. And my commander gets shot at. And as you can see how much damage it does to have half my HP in one shot. Commander rushing is a very valid tactic in this. It does a huge amount of damage, and of course, because of the pathing, my little guy got killed there. Probably shouldn't have done. I didn't click anywhere near that direction. I told him to assist the commander, but the commander was walking off, so I don't know why he was going that direction. And all the while, I've had a whole bunch of Tech 2 fabrication bots doing absolutely nothing, which is not great. Plenty of anti-air just in case he does have bombers, because they will kill my commander. I'm not that worried about him. In that little sortie I did earlier, I have killed an awful lot of his econ, so he can't get units up that quickly, and I know that he doesn't have anywhere near his base, at the very least, any sort of advanced building structures. So, there you go, I split off a little, so I bait out an attack with the one unit. Oh, which doesn't happen for some reason, he doesn't attack. But the idea is that you can bait out the attack with one unit, and he can't fire on the other units because he doesn't have any firing rate left, because it does fire very slowly. Now he's dead. I've got to worry about this guy in the south, who I've forgotten about a little. I'm very worried that he has Tech 2 ships on the go already, which would be very bad, as they completely outmatch Tech 1 ships, and they've got such a large range. As long as you position them correctly, you should never really get hit by the Tech 1 ships if you have a Tech 2 battleship. So I've finally got a Tech 2 radar up, and I'm building another one now. I believe I should have the range of the Tech 2 radar soon. I'm playing a bit quickly because I'm very worried about this guy on the bottom now. A bit sandwiched between the two players, but I think I'm in a bit of a commanding lead. I've got some anti-air ships up, and my advanced naval facility is on the go. And it's nearly finished, I believe. And I'm just checking, and I believe the other player, the third enemy, is near their base as well. So I'm not so worried about attacks from the back, because they are very likely to be attacking each other as they are so close. Starting to build Tech 2 artillery bots as well, which are incredibly powerful. However, they've buffed the range of the Tech 2 artillery in this patch, and it's actually nearly half the size of this planet. Like, if I built one in the middle of my base, I can hit beyond the horizon, which is completely nuts how big that range is. So, building the radar there. And what am I doing now? I zoomed out too far. Whoopsie. Go back to the moon and back to the planet. So I'm just kind of walking about, making sure that nothing's trying to sneak up on me. I'm probably waiting a little too long here. Right, okay, my energy's really low, that's the problem. Didn't notice that. So I'm trying to get my energy up and running. Not having huge amounts of success. So I'm stopping all my buildings from building stuff. I'm not going to stop the constructor bots making the advanced ship factories. I'm very worried that he's already got Tech 2 Navy. I spread my anti-air out a little as well, just to protect the back, because Tech 1 bombers can kill ships very quickly, and Tech 2 bombers are even better at it. Again, taking some build capacity off to try and get the energy up. I do move my commander here, but then decide to put him back on because I need the energy. And there you go, I've now got my advanced ship factory up, and my energy has finished building, so I can start building things up again. I don't know quite what I'm looking around here for, they're just like general stuff. So there you go, there's the yellow's base and blue's base. My Tech 2 radar is not nearly up at the front, so I'll be able to push in with my ships and be a little safe soon, hopefully. I do notice something fairly quickly, which is a bit worrying, and that's the fact he's already got shipyards up, so I move in to try and sort that out a little. And here's one boat. Now, the pathfinding and combat mechanics on boats are not great. They are not the smartest things in the world, and all boats seem to do AoE damage as well, which is a problem. So if you have a group of units, you will die. Like there, I had 2 boats against 1, and my second boat did indeed get shots off, but because of the turrets fire individually of each other, his boat was able to kill one of my boats, which was Very annoying. And the anti-airboats do have an anti-ship attack, however they don't seem to like to use it very often. So I start attacking this advanced shipyard. Something I didn't know though is advanced shipyards have a hell of a lot of HP. So I'm having a bit of trouble here, and his Tech 2 battleship is about to pop out. And in fact it does, which is incredibly worrying because that thing does a lot of damage and can kill people incredibly quickly. As you can see here, 1 gone, 2 gone, 3 gone, and 4 gone. That is indeed a foregone conclusion. So I'm like, oh no, better get some more anti-air up just in case. And some anti-ship, even though it doesn't seem to really do much. Build some more energy, although I probably should have gone with mass here, not metal. But the energy wasn't the end of the world. Move those guys back and build another radar, just in case he decides to bombard the shore and kill that radar. And here comes his Tech 2 battleship. Now, like I say, naval units are stupid, and the way they fire is a little cumbersome. I'm sure that AO will change quite quickly. Now, something I knew is that he couldn't shoot my battleship while it was still in there because it would block the shots. So he's microing around the back, and this allows me to turn my battleship quite quickly, without taking shots yet, and try and broadside him a bit. And by manually firing, I kind of force the guns to fire a bit more quickly, and take that one out. Now there is another one here, but he takes the first shot, and I've got broadside against the front of his ship, so I'm able to get a lot more shots off than he is, and able to take it down while still remaining on half HP. Now this is what won me it. If I didn't save this battleship, all my naval would have died, and I would have been in a lot of trouble, essentially. So I bring it back in to try and take out this advanced naval facility. Again, lots of HP, so it does take a while to kill. Also, I'm not sure whether that's a hitbox or whether I'm hitting something else there, but all the shots seem to be hitting early. So I try and manoeuvre the ship around to try and protect it a bit more, attack it a bit more with my more guns, and hit it from a different side to see whether it is that it's got a large hitbox or doesn't like attacking. Now, I kind of give up here because he's not attacking the ship at all, not attacking the advanced shipyard. So I start attacking another unit instead. Probably a bit of a mistake. I should have just left him to his own devices and hoped, but I get a bit lucky and notice that these advanced ships are helping the shipyard, which might be healing it. So I bring that around and try to take them out. And all the while I'm amassing a bit of anti-air and ground artillery at the front. And I'm decided to start a Tech 2 artillery. Now, this is a very far forward artillery and probably cover most of its base. Its range is madness. But if I do manage to get that up and secured, I've won this engagement completely, and I do not have to worry about the yellow player at all. So I'm bringing in the ships, I'm screaming, why won't you die? Because this thing just has so much HP, and finally it falls. This means now that all this is mine completely. Do have a bit of a problem. We get some air up, which means I have to retreat, so I can't continually bomb the shore. Unfortunately, I believe he does actually get my battleship, which is a massive problem, as well, he's also got that cheeky point defense on the shore there, which kills me as well, which isn't great. But I do have a bit of a problem now in that I'm a little open, because I've got nothing defending me on the sea, even though he has no way of building any more sea. Well, you know, he does still have his standard shipyard, but I'm not worried about Tech 1, as it doesn't seem to have anything that can boost it very easily. So I decide to move forward with my artillery. However, he gets one lucky bomb shot off, and kills quite a few of my anti-air units, and I lose a lot more walking to that defence, which I believe is Tech 2 defence, so it's killing me from quite a range. I believe this bomber does some more damage. Oh no, I do save it. Kill it, but I don't save all the units. He exclaims that he's getting 2-on-1, which I don't think is quite true. I'm not entirely sure that the other player is actually doing anything against him. And I believe he's actually quit the game as his name has greyed out. Now, I didn't actually notice this. Otherwise, I probably would have just ignored him. But I carry on pushing, which... this base is actually quite a tough nut to crack. I've got some artillery on the side, which is doing damage. I think I moved that artillery though. I don't know why. I mean, it's there doing damage for a while, but I do move it at some point. Again, bringing my ships in, trying to defend the battleship with the anti-air, but the range of the anti-air is not much, and it does not do as much damage as you hope. So, a little worried about that. Battleship's now well within range of all his econ, and if he was still in the game, would have been very annoying for him. I accidentally attack my own units by pressing the wrong button there, but luckily I didn't have any shots go off, so that was all good. At this point, I go and just double check that Blue isn't trying to do anything dangerous, and go back to my base to try and get some more econ up. Now, my econ management in this game wasn't particularly great because I was very worried that there was a person either side of me, so I wanted to make sure they were dead. And then I kind of left the econ for a while, not doing much. That's what kills him. It's a Tech 1 bomber, a singular Tech 1 bomber from a player who's left the game. Destroys so much of my stuff, so much. It's part of the reason I didn't realise he'd left, because his when a player leaves, all their structures carry on building units well up to there. I don't know whether the AI takes control, or whether he just hadn't rallied over there, so it was automatically attacking. It was very annoying. And those subs there are also quite annoying, because they are quite hard to get rid of. And my battleship gets dead, and as you can see, Tech 1 bombers kill battleships incredibly quickly. I'm pretty sure they're Tech 1, not Tech 2. It might be Tech 2, but I don't think he had any Tech 2 air fabrication stuff. Do a little bit of a check on the long-range missile defense and decide to build one just in case it actually does anything. Although I don't think it does anything different to the battleships in a minute. I think the battleships are just straight up better. I was hoping that the long-range missile of it would be that it fires its missile up and down so it can get over terrain, but at the moment it's just a straight shot, which is not particularly helpful. A bit wondering what to do with my commander. His build capacity is great, but I don't want to put him in any danger of any snipes or anything. So I'm trying to make sure that he's always moving and away from the most obvious places in a base where a commander would be. I have some more artillery, which I move in a little. Accidentally attack some wreckage there. So then I realise that this is a bomber and try to micro away. Fortunately, I haven't noticed that my Tech 1 robot facility has stopped making anti-air bots, so I'm running around a bit like a headless chicken at the moment, trying to figure out how to defend against this bomber. Tech 1 bombers, the way they work is the bombs act very similar to the way the Aeon bombs worked in I think it was the Aeon bombs, but they have like a slight bit of tracking and homing to them, which makes them very difficult to defend against, because you can microwave from them and they will hit other things, but they will tend to hit large clumps of your units, which is quite annoying, and they can get 2 or 3 shots off, depending on how much energy you've got, I believe it is. Because their recharge rate is based on energy production, I believe. So they can be very annoying to deal with. I bring my boat around, start doing some more damage on the shore, realise that there aren't any subs left, and decide to push in on this angle. Again, he is completely left at this point. He is not actually building anything. I'm just wasting resources trying to destroy his base. I'm not sure why he left. I think he was annoyed that there was 2 players attacking him, but I don't think Blue was attacking him, as his base seems pretty much intact. I think he just saw my boats and then saw my land units and assumed it was 2 players. Which is a bit unfortunate. And at this point I'm thinking, ooh, what's blue doing? But I'm still not worried about it, which is a bit of a mistake. I should have built like an air factory and got some scout planes and just had a little peek. Had a little think what he was doing. Because if he was building like 3 or 4 advanced factories worth of tech to air and just bomber rushed me, I would be completely dead. So I really should have done that. So, just microwaving my artillery around. It's always worth with artillery when you have it far forward, moving it backwards and forwards. Trying to stay in one direction or moving in large circles is a very good idea, because it makes it very hard for enemy artillery to target them, as the artillery takes so long to land and it doesn't think about where the units are going, it just fires where they currently are. So it makes it very easy to dodge artillery fire. Now he has built some artillery vehicles, which do cause a bit of a problem, so I try and micro my battleship away, but they are firing quite a distance, and these would have been a much bigger problem if he was actually still in the game, although I don't think it would have been enough of a problem that I would have lost. Here, I try and snipe his commander with my artillery. However, I'm aiming at the wrong blob. It's actually the blob just below it, as you can see there. If I'd actually got that, this would have just been over, because I had more than enough damage to take out his commander there. But it goes on for a little bit longer as because of that. And I do lose a couple of my ships, unfortunately, I believe. Although, after this base is down, they don't really play much of a role in the game anymore, so not that worried about it. I've got quite a few anti-air bots here, and I've built some forward advanced bot factories, because I know the other base is over here as well, and having forward factories is a lot better than making them in your base if you just want production. The little guy's gone for a swim there. Just having a nice bath. Happy fun time. Destroy the wreck so I can move my ship around very carefully. And try and position it so its guns can fire broadside on the advanced vehicle factory. I still think he's in the game at this point. I'm not entirely sure why. Yeah, this guy has not been building artillery for a long time now, so I put him back on artillery and send my commander over there. He's very open in that area. If Blue had air and was being a bit proactive, he could have very easily sniped my commander with very little I could do. I think in future games I'm going to have something my commander do near the shore, so if I do see a bomber run come in, I can move him into the water very quickly to try and counteract the bomber run. So I don't believe that bombers can fire into water. I do move my commander into water later, but he's not doing anything. So he could have been doing stuff in the water. Maybe I should have a fabrication sub with my commander so he can be building econ. That would probably be a good idea. And building floating econ in the water and hope that splash doesn't kill the commander. I decided to try and get some information on this guy. Unfortunately, I don't notice he's in a bit of a cul-de-sac here, so I built it right on his front door, which wasn't the smartest place to put it, as he does have artillery now, which is going to destroy it fairly soon. And Tech 2 artillery, as you can see, this range on the Tech 2 artillery, I've selected it now. I believe I do a bit more of an overview of it. It is huge. So big, in fact, that it's very hard to fit on the screen. But at this point, it's game over. He has died because this Tech 2 artillery is just going to carry on firing at him now, and the health bar's going very wobbly around it for some reason. Unfortunately, the middle, I placed the bot factories wrong, and I placed the exits facing each other, so I had to destroy the middle one in order to redo it. I don't rebuild that though, that was a bit of a mistake. I could have handled that econ quite easily. I noticed that this radar's died, so I move it back, but another artillery shell comes in. Move it even further back, but then I believe a third artillery shell does indeed kill all that off. At this point I realised, I've made a huge mistake. I should have gone after him sooner. the range on Tech 2 artillery is massive. And just letting someone turtle up like that, if they get some advanced point defense and plenty of air defense and a couple of artillery, they are very hard not to crack, and they can just build advanced air factories and just destroy your base quite easily. There, I lost that to the Tech 2 artillery. I was a bit miffed. Not too worried, because it's given me a kind of indication where the Tech 2 artillery is, so I can try and deal with it a little. However, I misunderestimate the range, I believe, a little. I don't know why I built that radar there. The radar coverage... actually I stopped. I didn't build it there. Still built it in a bit of a silly place. I should have built it further round and just tried to get a singular lot of radar coverage. Here's the range of the artillery. So big that when you do that, it's past the horizon where it can fire. You can see it on the edge of the mountains there, but blimey, that is one big bit of artillery. Now, I can imagine building a turtle base on one of the caps and just building 8 artillery facing each direction and just having plenty of radar coverage, because you would just decimate anything that tries to attack you there. As I said, the ocean is a bit of a dead point now. I'm going to start going after the base. I can't hit their base from the shore here, as the range of the ships is not good enough. It is a very tight circle on the ships, which is, I believe that's another change in this patch, but not certain. I know I've got enough radar coverage that if he does try to attack that way, I'll be able to notice it. So I'm a little worried about air at this point. And I think that what I've decided to do at this point is to go artillery and try and push his base a little. A little bit of a mistake. I can't remember how I pushed the base at first. Oh, my commander's caught up in there. I haven't noticed that yet. I believe I'll notice that soon now. Not a horrible place for your commander to be when you're in the ocean. Is just hanging around with your entire fleet, so it's very safe. But it's not the best place for it to be either. Now here you go. I do try to engage his base from behind the mountains at first, because a lot of the units in the game can't actually... What am I doing here? Oh, I'm just pointing out the range of the ships. It's far too far. A lot of the units in the game don't arc up over mountains, but artillery does. So I take my anti-air, because I know it's got air as it's flying around its base, and my artillery, and try to come around the back. So I'm going to build a radar to look at the back of his base to make sure there's nothing there to surprise me at all. And the back of his base is actually completely open. He hasn't built any defense at the back at all. So I'm hoping, I don't know this at this point, but it does look like it, so I'm hoping that the range of the artillery and the fact it fires upwards will be able to fire over the mountains, and I'll be able to hit weak spots in his base quite easily with that, without taking minimal damage. It doesn't quite go as well as I'd hope. I'm also thinking, if this doesn't work, I'm going to switch over to air. So I've got my Tech 2 factory building Tech 2 bots, and I'm going to get my Tech 1 factory building Tech 1 fab bots as well. I'm going to be boosting out air as quickly as possible to try and do a lot of damage, because if you look at the front of his base, it looks like he's walled in and has got lots of point defense at the front, but it's such a tight little cul-de-sac that it's very unlikely that he's got huge amounts of econ, and the econ it does have is likely to be tightly packed at the back, because that's traditionally how you turtle in these sort of games. In the future, I think turtling in these games is going to be a lot more spread out. You're going to be turtling in large clumps to try and defend against artillery and general snipage. Unlike traditional maps where you have 4 corners, so you always have a hard point, or even two hard points where you can stop players coming from regardless ever. It's a fully 3D map, so there's no hard points to go against, so regardless of what happens, players will always be able to come at you from a 360-degree angle. So turtling requires a different sort of thinking in this game, because you can't just rely on, oh, I can defend 2 points and just put lots of towers up. and it'll only be able to attack me from this direction. So spreading out and making sure your econ is well spread out and defend your production, I think is going to be the better way to turtle in this. And a good way to turtle as well is likely going to be having plenty of air units and bombers for land defense and static air defense for air defense. And just making sure you've got enough production that you can have 1 or 2 facilities of each type and switch as the case needs to be. Now, pushing a little early here. Oh no, I've got the radar up and I can see he's got basically nothing here, so I decided to push in. A bit of a mistake, I forget that the airbots are quite a bit faster than the artillery, so he starts getting artillery shots off over the mountains, which I didn't know he'd be able to do. And because they're firing at the front of the pack here, by the time they land, they are hitting my artillery units, and I've already lost quite a few. Now, I do try and squeeze in here, which was a bit of a mistake. I should have just selected my artillery units, brought the anti-air back, and tried to just push in a little bit more with the artillery. And then another big land. Oh, see, I'm losing a lot of units here. Taking out a chunk of his econ, though, a chunk of his metal econ. So I'm hoping that that's done enough damage that wasn't a completely wasted attack. However, I did lose a lot of my anti-air units in that attack as well. And he does counter with bombers very soon. He tries countering my base first, I believe. Yeah, it doesn't get very far with that, as I have built some anti-air defense around my production facilities. However, he knows I'm a little weak, and he starts making a forward fire base as well. This turned out to be quite a bit of trouble. I've got a couple of artillery here, but not enough to be able to do much. And his fleet of bombers is moving in on my units, which I've only got, what's that, 2 anti-air units there? So these are all Tech 2 bombers as well, and they just completely decimate me. So his artillery is already up and covering this spot, so I try and sort you around a little, use a little bit of micro, but of course, as you're microing, you're not paying attention to other stuff. However, I still lose all my units because he's got advanced point defense there. I forget that I built I don't know where the fabrication ships have got, because I believe they're hiding in the grass. And you can see them there. I was going to make some more, and then I noticed them in a second. There you go. And so I'm going to build an advanced air factory, and I've got a lot of production here, a lot of build capacity. So I'm just going to start pumping out Tech 2 bombers to try and break this artillery at the front, because if that gets well defended, I'm completely screwed at this point, because I can't do anything about it without the air. I'm hoping that the air will be able to penetrate. He hasn't got too much anti-air defense, but that's not a guarantee in the slightest, and unfortunately all my ships are dead at this point. My commander is safely in the water, which is good, so his bombers can't just snipe me. I accidentally left click instead of right click, so I want to cancel and build lots and lots of interceptors. Move my commander a bit into deeper water and protect it with an anti-air boat. And this built really quickly with this build capacity, so I ended up getting some... Well, I'm going to go for interceptors first, rather than bombers. And even though I'm at minus 15,000 energy, this thing is still building incredibly quickly. So he does take out all my Tech 1 air factories, and he comes around and threatens to take out my advanced air factory. Now, I think he would have been much better off going after my build capacity here, but instead he snipes the air factory that was building, but I can now get air out incredibly quickly because of it. So I start building some interceptors to try and make sure that his air doesn't do much, and I go and scout that firebase. I can see that he's building with fabrication aircraft, so I quickly take that down to stop another Tech 2 artillery from going up. And also notice the radar is in a bit of an odd position, so I try and snipe it a little with my artillery, my Tech 2 artillery units. However, there is going to be another little surprise from him in a second. I do try and do a little bit of damage with my fighter, but I believe he actually gets shot by a point defense in a minute, which is really annoying. Here comes more bombers as well. Are they bombers? Oh no, they're builders. Well, I think they're bombers, unfortunately. I don't just go in and snipe them. So I really want my artillery to take out this radar, which will give me a big advantage at the front here. So that means his artillery can't fire, which is taking out a lot of my units that I'm building at the minute. So it's about to land. But he's also got Tech 2 artillery in his base, which is in range of these units. So I'll try and dance around it a little. I think a shot finally kills him off in a minute. There you go. And, oh, here comes the surprise. Unfortunately, I didn't realise that he'd also built a whole bunch of land units. So I immediately retreat and try and bring my units up and do a bit of micro, and then realise it would be futile. So then I do something that might seem a bit strange. I switch over to Tech 2 bombers ASAP. I know I've got air superiority at this point because he hasn't tried to push air again, and he's decided to go land instead. So my thinking is that as he had built lots of air units, he probably hasn't got anti-air on the ground. So I decided to just push out Tech 2 bombers as quickly as possible, and it works incredibly efficiently, as you'll see now. Just units just gone immediately. Bang. Get another Tech 2 bomb out. These are building so quickly because of the amount of build capacity I've got on that Tech 2 air facility. And these units, they do quite a bit of damage. They start taking out air defense turrets. They take out an advanced bot factory. I think take out another one. Did that just get hit by an artillery shot? It did as well, didn't it? Oh. I do lose quite a few bombers to artillery shots, unfortunately. They do get quite lucky with that stuff quite often. My fabrication aircraft get in the way, but I have thwarted that attack for very little loss. Then he brings in his air, but I've got Tech 2 interceptors up, and he's only got Tech 1. So I just easily run circles around this, and it does basically no damage. Well, it does no damage at all with lots of it. So while it looks like I might be behind at this point, I'm actually in quite a commanding lead, because he's tried 2 attacks, they've both failed. I have now got air dominance, quite a margin of, and as soon as this firebase is able to be taken down, I have very little to worry about. So I noticed he's got some anti-air. I tried clicking on it. Unfortunately, in the same group as all these units, I've got a bloody fabrication aircraft, so I can't individually click on buildings. But so I've lost quite a bit, but that just means I have to go for round 2 quite quickly. It does mean I'm in a little bit of a disadvantage, but I've still got lots of anti-air stations. I quickly built. I found one of my old fabrication aircraft and told them to build some advanced air factories. Also get my Tech 2 bots to start building a little bit more energy so I can get some more capacity out. And my commander somewhere new just in case he did spot him on the first attack, so it means he's got a bit more work to do to find him for a second. Tell that fabrication aircraft to get out of it. And I'm going to go in for round 2 on this forward fire base. Now, he could have very easily brought in more stuff and built some more anti-air, in which case I would have had a lot more trouble. However, I do manage to stop him from getting too much more up. I do actually lose an aircraft to a bloody point defense, and another one to a point defense, and another one to a point defense. These things are amazing against air. They are far too accurate. Bring in my anti-air units to stop that from building, and use my bomber to take out that. So now his forward fire base is dead. I know he's got a lot of defense there, an awful lot of defense. And there's a little cheeky attack behind. I think he's looking for my commander, doesn't get much luck, but he does take out a good chunk of my energy, which means that I'm losing quite a bit now. Luckily, I did build another one earlier, and I'm working on metal at the minute. I should have just gone straight back into another energy as soon as I saw that, but I do thwart this little sortie of his and get ready to think about a counterattack. Now, one thing that I did notice is that when I attacked earlier, he didn't have any anti-air at his back, and I know I've got superiority in the air because of these fighters, and he hasn't even tried to challenge us at all. I've not lost many at all, and I've just constantly been going in and in and in and in. So he must not have that much air defense. So I think, you know what? I bet his commander's not covered either. So let's take these few Tech 2 aircraft, which I don't really need. I'm not quite sure why I built those, but I think that's just to protect against snipes I don't notice. Yeah, swap those back onto, a bit zoomed in here, swap those back onto building that, and then come back over here, and I take these bombers and say, let's go see if I can get his commander. Now, bomber snipes with commander are very powerful. In the mid to late game of this, of Planetary Annihilation, I think you really want to be as turtley as possible with regards to protecting your commander, putting him in the ocean that you own, or surrounding him in anti-air turrets, and unfortunately for Zippy94, or Zip94, he did not, and I quite quickly spot his commander. I think about going after his build capacity, his ecom, I say, nope, commander die time, and I win the game. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope this audio quality is much better than previously, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment below if you think I can think of any other ways for me to improve my videos. And in the future, I will do my best to make more videos and with better quality. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Surreal Lemming, signing out.